Capricorn, welcome to Pure Tarot. I'm doing a reading for May. I have no specific theme in mind. I usually like the cards to reveal what they want to you on their own. Let them speak. So let's just do this. Moonology card, we're going to get one of those. Let's see. I have the word, you're content. You're content in May. Satisfied. And no card wants to come out. Let's pull. Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. That's interesting. I'm focusing on having a bigger picture in the sense that I'm wondering if the satisfaction I was feeling is deriving from having that overview. Well, that's too many. Like literally, like way too many. Having that overview. I'm feeling you're seeing how, like, you know, when you look at a watch, inside of a watch, and you see all the wheels, the dented wheels, how they all work together, you know, so I'm sensing that you're seeing how things, the working of things, right? In French we say rouage. It's sort of those wheels, the way they synchronize and everything. So it's like being able to see all the parts and seeing how they move together from that bird's eye view. I'm hoping some tarot will come out. Another pile, but this one I can take. It's not too, there's a few, but not as much as before. Okay. 9 of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, Chariot, 6 of Swords in reverse, and Justice. So the 2 majors are upright. Good thing. But this is quite interesting because this is a contradiction in itself, right? You've got both traveling cards, both are moving forward, but one is not. The 6 of Swords is in reverse. So let me read this. I just also want to point out, you have the Queen of Swords with the Justice, right? So both are women with swords, with one huge sword. Both have the same clear-cut, logical, methodical, analytical sort of brain or intelligence or way of mentally processing things, information particularly, and even communication. and communication, not both thinking and speaking. Okay, I'm gonna sort of try to see if I get a story, but because I'm picking up on the different energies, but I want to try to integrate them. So the Nine of Wands in reverse with the Queen of Swords in reverse, being the first card, is sort of the past position. This is pure, you know, when you've had enough. It's like, oh, maybe up. You've had enough. So there's a sense of some people use the word bitterness when the Queen of Swords is in reverse, bitchiness as well. I'm trying to feel out if that's how I'm sensing this particularly, and I'm not. It's more when you're really, really fed up of something, then you just, how can I put it? You know, the Queen of Swords is usually upright. She will, if needed, she'll cut people out, situations, things, whatever. Whatever is superfluous, superfluous, like like not necessary, not needed, cut it out. So when she's upright, she has the capacity to do that, to cut things out that don't serve her. But she doesn't necessarily do that. But for me, when she's in reverse, it means she did cut it off because she was fed up. So that's why I'm not sensing that it's out of bitterness or bitchiness. On the contrary, it's out of self-love and self-respect that that she's really like putting you know, an end to these situations, because this card of also being you know, upright would be outright exhausted, but reverse still has that connotation of, you know, being drained. It's definitely not a comfortable place to be, right? So anything that felt uncomfortable, you're cutting out. And I don't mean like the kind of comfort like a blanket and it's warm under your blanket. Not like that. A real personal comfort. And I did mention, you know, satisfaction and being contented. So you're cutting out anything that doesn't create this sort of contentment inside of you. Knowing that you're good, right? So by cutting it, it makes you move forward. Yet, and it makes you feel victorious, right? It's a personal victory. Has nothing to do with proving anything to anybody, because this is not the Six of Wands. This is a personal victory. So maybe even feeling proud of having been able to respect yourself enough to weed out whatever was not keeping you in a very satisfied and content and happy place. What's really interesting is after the Chariot, you have this card of the Six of Swords, like, so no forward movement with Justice, right? And Justice is sitting on a throne, on a throne. So she's in one place, in one spot. So even if you've had this personal victory and you might have felt like things were moving forward, it's almost like, and I'm going to bring back the words, the bigger picture is showing you by what you're seeing, how things are working, that you actually need to sit down. You need to sit down, because the clarity that comes with Justice, right? That absolute, the mental clarity, the very practical, factual, realistic view on things, which is very much in line with all these wheels I was describing, like inside of a clock, because those are, you know, it's mechanics, so it's very tangible. It's really interesting. I mean, of course you can read it symbolically, but it also points to something that has a physical reality. So you need, you also need, Justice is detachment. So somehow being emotionally detached, and that's the only position you can truly see the bigger picture from. Almost, it's being objective. It's pure objectivity, which is the essence of Justice. Neutrality. So it's being being still, yeah, standing in stillness or sitting in stillness. I get both words because this man is standing and she's sitting. So it's both standing and sitting in stillness. Also, when you stand, you're like, you also see things from a different position than when you're sitting. It's really interesting. It really all sort of, it rotates around that bigger picture notion from the beginning. And I want to go back to feeling satisfied and content. Because I'm sensing like maybe this objectivity is what's bringing you this personal victory and sense of satisfaction, because maybe you needed to feel clear and you weren't in the past. You know, you were being drained and you were fed up with something and you needed to cut it out. So definitely from it not being in your life anymore is when you soar. Hence why you felt movement. It might have been even movement upward. If you're sensitive, you would know what I mean. Let's get an oracle card out of my Triad oracle deck. very Sagittarian to have something pull you up, like really a vision, a goal, something that is really like, you know, aiming for the stars. There's this star on the forehead of the chariot, right? And we have, no, I can't make this up. Elevation. Get out. Look at that. A pyramid. And this is almost, it looks like almost like a dollar sign. I love it. I'm sorry, I get really giddy. Nice. Oh, wow. Okay. And it says, so ascension, ascent, increase, access, amelioration, mountain, and departure. Really, really interesting. I love this because the departure could be like the movement you felt, but this movement upward, this elevation, so ascension. Really interesting. And what's even more interesting is that, you know, we usually use elevation as a, you know, usually talk about elevation in the context of spirituality and whatnot. But the Justice card is here, and I did mention something about this being close to reality, and there's something interesting there that it cannot be dissociated. Okay, it's like almost, and I mean, I can't help myself but see the dollar sign here, because so it for some reason it's like one doesn't exclude the other, kind of thing, about being in the material world and dealing with materials, you know, as well as elevating and you know, ascending to your own personal victories. That bigger picture, that mountain, it said mountain on this card. So like all of this idea that you're higher up and looking at things and like seeing things like for what they really are and how they really work, and then seeing the inner workings, all of that, right? It's layers and layers, but it's all like super well, neatly, like it just fits, you know? I don't know. I'm stoked. And it all comes from like being a bitch. Oh, that's funny. The headphones. Interesting. So sound, music, receiving information, listening to information. This will go on the Justice card. You know, maybe what you're listening to is your intuition. And if it's not your intuition, actually, let me retract myself, because I did put the headphones on the Justice card. So I'm thinking maybe what you're hearing, so it's information that is being mentally processed. You know, I did mention how the Queen of Swords and the Justice are both cards of mental processes, and so what you do with that information, how you treat it, how it actually all fits together, all of that. And by having that clear picture, it becomes a bigger picture because it ascends you, so it becomes even more obvious, like all of those details and the workings of that. I mean, it's very symbolic, right? I mean, I'm discussing this and then I just had the flash, how do you apply this to your own life, right? But I mean, I leave it up to you to find something that it resonates with for you. I mean, there's no way I can even pick examples of this, so I won't. Anyway, that's what I have for you. I hope you liked it. Please show me some gratitude. Like, share, subscribe, the whole thing. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.